They say it's power in the tongue. If that's true, I wanna take this time to speak life into you. I'ma help you overcome what you going through. You're not in this alone. I was sent to put you on. Wanna see how good life is? All you really need is some guidance. The ones close to you may not like it. That's cool, cause pretty soon them fools gon' see that you were a diamond. First of all, I wanna give praises to the Most High for giving me the strength to make changes in my life. Cause without me going through what I went through, how could I even have the wisdom to give you or lead by an example? So let me be your coach. You gon' need some advice when you get thrown against the ropes. I'ma keep you on your toes. I don't know if you know, but there are unseen forces battling over your soul. Who is? But that depends on the choices that you make. My advice to you is choose life each and every day. That's easy for me to say when it's definitely not the case. It's tough when you got so much temptation thrown in your face. Okay, let's say if you fall by giving in, would you beat yourself up about it or get up and try again? Don't allow sin to be a burden. Accept and learn from it, move on and keep working. They say it's power in the tongue. If that's true, I wanna take this time to speak life into you. I'ma help you overcome what you going through. You're not in this alone. I was sent to put you on. Wanna see how good life is? All you really need is some guidance. The ones close to you may not like it. That's cool, cause pretty soon them fools gon' see that you were a diamond. I'm a SC, I do things a little different. I be at peace, cause I stay in the spirit. I'm a blessing to all those who dwell with me. I'm not flexing when I say my life's litty. Love is what my foundation is built on. Everybody I connect with, the vibe be so strong. I'm vegan, so I got love for the animals too. They're my sisters and brothers. I do not look at them as food because I'm pro-life. I serve the God of the living, they be the most high. And anybody who don't like me, they'll be alright. They can keep that negativity on that side. Got too much love in my heart. Grab a hold of my hand, let me pull you out the dark. I'm a light and that's a light. I'm just here to do my job. Know this journey is a fight. Be prepared to go to war. They say it's power in the tongue. If that's true, I wanna take this time to speak life into you. I'ma help you overcome what you going through. You're not in this alone. I was sent to put you on. Wanna see how good life is? All you really need is some guidance. The ones close to you may not like it. That's cool, cause pretty soon them fools gon' see that you were a diamond.
All right, almost messed up my introduction. Blessings. Let me get myself on the camera because my last broadcast I was hanging off of the camera. Welcome to Uncensored Enlightenment Talk. Yes, you're here with your host, Grace Levi, on the trending topics. And you know what we do? We go over a lot of different topics that many people may not be talking about, or we're not talking about collectively as the Black community, or people who just want to think to the left. You know what we do here? We got a little conspiracy going on as well. Towards the end of our broadcast, shout out to Rumble. I love you. Thank you for the freedom. So we have a double broadcast. You know what we do, the things that we cannot broadcast on YouTube. We're going to say it anyway on Rumble. Sorry. You know, I get excited because I just like to talk. So we're going to do that. We got a few segments for you. We're going to go into international news, local news, a little bit of political news, a little bit of politics. Just one or two stories I want to update you on, things that we hit back in 2023. We got an update, as well as some celebrity news. You know what's been popping back on our screen with Puffy, and I wonder what we're being distracted from. Our international news, what we gonna touch on, I think that's what we're being distracted from. And us as the brown melanated community, we need to be diverse. So we're gonna hit that up. So let's get to it. No more holding back. I'm gonna give a shout out and an update. And sometimes we give health warnings as well. We're going to highlight Igbo landing, remembering slaves and remembering enslaved Africans who chose death over slavery by walking into the ocean. Now, we're going to shout out to our ancestors here. Yes, I am. This was the article that came up on my news feed. So I said, why not start it like this? Because we do have some news that highlights justice or just us. So before we do that, get into the things that's kind of heart wrenching. Let's just give an update on something good. Okay. Now the Igbo tribe. I would say myself talking to my grandmother from memory. She remembers us having a connection to the Igbo tribe. She gave me some stories about some of the things that she remembered being told by her grandmother and some ancestry things. So, I'm from the tribe of Levi. So this definitely resonated with me. So the Igbo people walked into the ocean together and unalive by as they refused to be enslaved for the rest of their lives. It's always Black History Month here in memory of those who chose the sea in an act of mass resistance against slavery. A group of slaves revolted, took control of the slave ship, grounded it on the island, and rather than submit to slavery, proceeded to march into the water and drown. So I want to send a shout out to our ancestors who definitely, by all means necessary, will not give up their freedom. And I stand for freedom of speech, freedom to be whoever you want to be. But at the end of the day, we don't want to impose on anyone else or disintegrate on anyone else's beliefs. But we should have the freedom to be and practice our own religion. This is something that actually, or religion, heritage, nation, whatever anyone wants to call it. This reminds me of something that happened during the time of, can I say they don't like when I talk about this. I'm not going to get into history, y'all. I ain't going to get into nothing biblical right now because I have something else biblical to share with you. So shout out to our ancestors, just to know that that spirit is in us. And I just pray that you guys keep that spirit of freedom and pay attention to what's going on. I want to give a update. Now, that some of our legislators have changed in regards to 420. You know that as cannabis. We know that as marijuana, those type of things. Now, the class has changed to a class, I think class A. Let's look into it. What class did it? Hold on one second because I want to say the right thing. Class. Rescheduled to a Schedule 1. Okay, so it's a Schedule 1 at this point, and we do have many people who are dipping and dabbing into smoking cannabis. Now, I'm bringing this up not only as a healthcare provider, but I want you guys to be aware. This is something that I found interesting. I'll be sharing this on Nurses to Nurses News Network. High potency cannabis use is associated with an increased likelihood of psychotic experience. Okay. So I found this interesting. This was on BBC News. We can't play it here, but maybe I can just get into the article just a little bit. For the study, the research enlisted about 1,400 participants who were examined from birth and interviewed between 16 and 18 about their cannabis use. This was followed by interviews conducted with the participants were 24 to accent their cannabis use in their choice of whether their choice of strand, highlighting whether they experience psychedelic episodes resulting from cannabis use, with psychotic episodes being classified as delusional or hallucinogenic. Okay, so now there's many people who have been using 420 new people. Now, I'm not going to get into the detail because I'm going to have a series on this on Rumble. on Nurses to Nurses, I didn't introduce YouTube yet, but I will put it in my feeds for YouTube so I can introduce you to the Rumble Nurses to Nurses News Network page where I'm able to go into detail about this. But what I will say is that I do agree with this article to a certain extent. I did not see people acting psychotic or experiencing hallucination, but I did experience them when I did the One World Music Fest in Atlanta. Yes, I was the nurse down there. You know what I'm saying? That was this summer. There was a high use of marijuana down there. Okay, they had liquid marijuana. They had liquid was the worst. That's when it really got bad. They had liquid. They had the gummies. They had everything. Day one, we had a pretty active triage where people were coming in dehydrated at first. We had to rehydrate them, but the next day when they had the high potency of the liquid marijuana, they was drinking it. Now this person in there was allegedly selling 500 milligrams. Now I don't know how they was dosing the shit, but I know people were really not responding well. So they were projectile vomiting. We had to, like I said, give them fluids, give them antiemetics, things to stop them from throwing up. And myself, I wasn't comfortable with what I was seeing. So I just want you guys to know, you use at your discretion, especially because it's allegedly legal now. But please keep in mind, because I always keep my conspiracy mind on, when the others, the elites, we're going to call them others because they're not us, when they get their hand on certain things, it changes its quality. It changes type. Sometimes it's washed down, or, other chemicals are added to it to enhance its ability to stretch it. Please be careful. We already know that we have had this new drug epidemic that they're not paying attention to, but we're starting to see it with fentanyl, and people are using 8-balls. So I'm not going to get deep into that, but I wanted to get into it because that article came through my feeds and I was like, okay, now you're saying psychotic episodes. So that brought to my attention too, because there's a video that I want to actually do a reaction to. And that video was about a content creator who was a big content creator on YouTube. Over 1 million people follow him, and he used to do videos on gold digging women. This is what my son told me he did videos on because he knew him. And this gentleman was kind of vile. My son said he kind of was like really negative. He was like, the way he kind of went at his topics and stuff was not really kosher or kosher for the culture. So he had a lot of stuff going on with him, and he was allegedly possessed and this type of stuff. So we're going to react to it. But what I will say is that he was saying that he had took a dose of gummies, or not at brownies, Rice Krispies, he said. And then he had at the allegedly a low dose, and he had this episode. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get into this article, get a little bit more deeper into these more studies that they're starting to bring out allegedly about, 420. And compare it to what I know and to what he's saying. So we're going to go into that. About time we do that reaction, I'm going to already did my research on Nurses to Nurses News Network as far as if really psychotic episodes are linked to marijuana use, because we're going to look at some studies. Not always say them studies is correct. We already know sometimes they be biased, but we're very diverse on Nurses to Nurses News Network, where on Nurses to Nurses News Network, we give the good, the bad, the ugly, the conspiracy, and the fact checker. And that's what really stands out, because I make sure that I give everybody opinion. So, all right, I just wanted to get into that. Be safe, guys, if you're going to be 420, because it's in the others' hands and it may not be safe. Now, as we talk about the others, and we're talking about the industry of healthcare, I have noticed I've been aware that the stars actually been using this Ozempic. Okay. Now, Ozempic was a medicine that they were going to be trying to use for diabetes, and it did not pan out. So what the pharmaceutical agents, allegedly did was use it for another use. They found that it was beneficial for you to lose some weight. So I noticed this a couple of months ago at one of my PRN positions. I got to share with you on the Nurses to Nurses News Network. We do have UC My niche is health and wellness as well. So when I go into work, I'll be like, hey, y'all got to get healthy. Yeah. So I got the nurses all healthy and stuff. They moving and grooving, you know, wearing some of my outfits and things, wearing their tags. I took a few weeks off because, you know, it's PRN. I came back. These chicks skinny. I said, wait a minute. What happened here? Hold up. You skinny, you skinny, you skinny. Hold up. And they like, yeah, we've been on our workout, but everybody kind of secretive. So come to find out that I was talking to one of the ladies and I'm like, how you doing? How you doing on your weight loss journey? And she was like, oh, I'm doing well. I'm going to be doing this. And I was like, yeah, all the ladies here doing well. They losing weight all fast. Like, what is going on? She's like, they taking the shot. I was like, they taking the shot? What's the shot? She's like, that shot, Ozempic. I said, oh, okay. I said, oh. So I'm not going to give my opinion on Ozempic, but I will do that if I have to on Nurses to Nurses Network as well, because there's always a good, bad, and ugly to stuff. But the ugly on this behalf that's showing its face on Ozempic, they're using it to lose weight, and now they're getting the opposite effect. Let's play this.
Everybody's getting pregnant on Ozempic now. So why is this happening? It's actually for two.
This is absolutely true. It's thought that these injectable weight loss medications like Wegovy or Ozempic or Zepbound and Mounjaro are affecting the efficacy and absorption of oral contraceptive medications. And they're also improving fertility in women with PCOS. And so that's why I have a 53-year-old patient who is now pregnant with twins.
Baby, opposite effect. You thought she was going to be living your best life. You end up pregnant with child. So be careful, ladies. If you are taking these medications, just know a lot of them still is in their experimental phase, because experimental phase can last up to 10 years. Not saying everything is an experiment allegedly, but you know, when things come out, you learn as you go. So be careful before you become prego, okay, on Ozempic. I won't be taking that. I don't take the easy way out. You know what I'm saying? I'm fast, pray, move about, do what I'm supposed to do. And I actually promote that passive weight loss. Now, I want to get into a little bit of international news. Okay. And then I'm going to give you an update. Hold on. I think I got I'm going to do the update after this, because it's going to kind of lower the tone a little bit, because we're going to get a little serious, you know, because sometimes I just got to be serious. Now, let's bring this up. This was something that happened in the past, and I want to send love and blessings to Kobe Bryant, because I'm bringing his, you know, untimely pass up to use it as a sort of example, or to say this seems remarkably similar or familiar. Okay, let's play this.
Supplement brand, because they had
Start it again.
helicopter crash. He was actually in the middle of a lawsuit to testify against the supplement brand because they had found traces of methamphetamines inside the pre-workout. He died, but I don't know if he died for that. Who knows? Maybe the 20-year pilot just lost experience that one day. It just made no sense. But they're poisoning your food, not only to fuck you, but also to keep you in the rat race of addiction.
All right, you already know. Now, the end part was allegedly conspiracy. We're going to get into that later. But we in the front part, because we don't really know. Well, Kobe Bryant was allegedly in that lawsuit to prove that the product that he was promoting was doing damage, and it had, like you said, methamphetamine. And this is not allegedly. And he had an untimely death. Now, I bring that up because there is another situation that's brewing internationally. I'm not going to bring it on the screen, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. And right now, because I know definitely that the Black community is not talking about this, but Iran and Iraq is having some issues. Iran and Israel, I do apologize, are having some issues. And these issues have been going on for years. Today, I was made aware by Binya Israel, and this is a Hebrew brother. I put him in my community page about the update about the president's plane actually crashing, or you know, rough landing, and they're still looking or doing a search for the president and a few other people, someone else in his cabinet. Now, I want to bring this up to you because this is something that we don't talk about in the Black community, and I find it very important because these things can affect us. We do have mass migration. This is something that I've been talking about. We're not talking about it tonight, but mass migration happens because of war, because of countries that become destitute. And I know ourselves in America, we don't believe that we will ever become destitute, that we can't be touched. But there is a lot of weird things that has been happening on ground here, not to mention the alleged invasion of migrants, allegedly. Okay. But what this goes to say, this particular situation makes me really, really think that biblically things are happening kind of sequentially in order the way it appears in the Bible. And we need to be aware. Okay. I'm going to highlight a section from Binya Israel so he can break this down a little bit biblically. It's not going to be a long clip of it. I'm going to put his full video up for you where he talks about the men's against Esau. Okay. Now, when he talks about the men's against Esau, this highlights some things that are going on right now. Now, if you don't know who these people may be, I want you to take your time and read some of the Bible, not verses, but whole scriptures, like the whole passage, not just a verse, but the whole story, so you can kind of get an idea where some of these biblical prophecies fall in. Okay, so I do believe that if Iran and Israel get into a conflict that they already have been brewing, allegedly Iran has suffered an attack a couple of weeks ago, and they're not saying that it was Israel, but people, you know, whatever the news is saying, we as the brown melanated community and the people who don't have that much, because you part of us too. Okay. You know what I talk about. Okay. All right. So when I say Esau, I'm not talking about all of the nation of white people, but you know what I'm saying. When I refer to Esau, that's a part of the bloodline that has been compromised. Okay. Esau is our cousins, but it's a part that has been compromised, and everybody is going to have to face their judgment. Okay. So I want you guys to understand that if we are under the cloak of a nation that is facing judgment, you will reap the benefit of that judgment. Now, you need to understand where you fit prophet in the prophets saying and how you're going to get through it. So I just want to highlight this. I know I can't really get into detail because I'm on YouTube. That's why I'm kind of like a loss for words, because I want to keep it kind of politically correct. Because I want to have resources when you talk about this. But our brother Binya Israel always have resources. And if you understand prophecy and you believe in the book, you want to make sure that you have yourself right, no matter what color you are, well, no matter what nation you are. You need to realize what time we're in. I'm sharing this so everyone who watch my broadcast, no matter what your nation is, because I know this is diverse, especially on Rumble, that we all have to survive this, especially, I mean, I'm highlighting the people who believe in the Most High, okay? The people who believe in good. All right, so let's just listen to what he has to say prophetically. And I want you to kind of go into your own research of what's happening between Iran and Israel, okay? The Israel that are in position right now, okay? So let's play.
All right. Isaiah chapter 13. And let's just start at verse 1 just to get some context, family. It says, "The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift up your banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of the multitude in the mountains, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahuwah has hosts of hosts, musters the host of battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahuwah, the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Family, to destroy the whole land. How ye, for the day of Yahuwah is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Verse 7. Therefore shall all the hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. And they shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. The faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of Yahuwah cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Oh, check this out, family. Verse 10. For the stars and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. This is getting ready to talk about an eclipse. It says,
Yep.
the sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine.
Now he's talking about the eclipse in here. So these are some events that happen. So I want you to take your time and go to our brother's Binyah Israel's video so you can watch the whole thing. But this is actually Isaiah chapter 13. And so they're talking about the eclipse, and then they're talking about basically invaders coming from off the off lands coming into another land to destroy it. Okay, let's just listen.
An eclipse, which is what we just had, family. And it says, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogance of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. You heard that, family? He's going to lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. And it says, verse 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore, I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall move out of her place in the wrath of Yahuwah of hosts, in the day of his fierce anger.
All right, let's stop right here because I just want y'all to listen to one more part. Okay, just listen. I want y'all to go back and listen for yourself. Now, this is not to set fear. I just want you guys to understand that some of the things that we're seeing is biblical. They even talked about the red heifer these last couple of weeks to sacrifice the red heifer. That's biblical. They even talk about building a third temple. That's biblical. And these are all signs of the coming of our Messiah. And that is who the Christians know as Jesus Christ. And that's who we know as the Hebrew as Yahshua. So I say both because I want to appease everybody. So just do what you do. I know what I do. I have put up a video with our brother arguing about that. Or not arguing, actually showing his facts behind it. And I truly believe him. But I will let you know, whatever I share is for information and educational purposes only. I don't put 100% with anything or everybody. I love to learn and I love to share information that sounds, or actually connects, that makes sense when I'm hearing it from different people, and then actually people who will go in and do the work. So just listen to this. This is one more part to this, guys. I know it's a little dry today, but I want you guys to pay attention because it's not just political. Don't just look at the political side of this, okay? There's something biblical and spiritual is happening, and you guys need to be ready. How are you going to be ready? Prepare your home, prepare your heart. Try to save money. Let's get into this.
Against them. Check this out, family, because remember I was saying that, well, maybe, they can bribe the Iranians and they can give them all kinds of incentives. They can tell them that, we'll lift those embargoes that we have against you. We'll lift those laws and those tariffs that we have against you, and you can make some money and your economy will boom and you'll prosper and you guys will be rich again. But check it out, family. It says, verse 17, it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So, family, this is not a money thing when it's time for the Medes to render this judgment. In verse 18, it says, their bows, like bow and arrows or rockets, you can think of it that way. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon the glory of kingdoms and the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when Yahuwah overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
And I'm stopping right there. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to leave this in the feeds of my community section on YouTube, so the people who are interested can watch it, so you can get another outlook from just the political outlook of what's going on between Iran and Israel, and just continue to do your research. I'm sharing this because we can talk about a lot of these subjects, be entertained, go down our timeline, but in the background, I hope you guys are really preparing, are stacking food, making sure that you have generators or solar panels, water in your home, things that will sustain you for a couple of days, because we don't know what's going on, you know, because like biblically said, there's been talks of war and it continues. Okay. It's getting hot. And I'm going to leave that. Okay. So let's move on, guys. Thank you for letting me express that. There's something that is in the back of my mind. Making sure that I keep my family prepared. Now, let's get into this. This was something that I talked about a while ago. Now, y'all know I feel a way about this situation. They should call elder abuse. I don't care. Elder abuse, elder abuse, elder abuse. Okay. There has been an update on David Pelosi. It says David deep hype sentenced to sentenced to 30 years in Paul Pelosi hammer attack. Now, that was a very, very violent attack. Let me see, can I pull up an article that goes into this a little bit? But that was a very, very violent attack. And what that goes to say, that wasn't his first attack. We showed the first one where he was attacked in his home and left by himself. Now, I was questioning, why did they leave that man again by himself to allow him to be attacked again with a hammer? The cops, I'm going to just talk about it because I'm not going to show it, but the cops literally caught it on their body cam. They watched this man. Pelosi husband is holding the crazy deranged man hand with the hammer, like, and he's looking confused. If y'all remember, that's why I feel so bad, because y'all know I like old people. I do. I love them. He's looking confused, and the selling is looking at the cop, and Pelosi's husband holding it, and Pelosi's husband just dropped his hands because the police said, "Drop your hands." Now it looks like Pelosi's husband may be suffering from some type of Alzheimer's or dementia. That's just my opinion. I don't know, but he was looking. He had that glossy looking face. Man, once he did that hammer went flying. It was so graphic. So this is the outcome of this, because the other guy who attacked him was sentenced as well. But the question is, why is this happening to Pelosi's husband? And where was she? Where was she? I feel some type of way. Where were you? Let's play this. Hopefully this is the video and they don't start talking about other stuff. Let's see.
In a case that raised fears about violent political outbreaks in this country, a federal jury has convicted David DePape of federal crimes for a violent attack on Paul Pelosi, husband of the former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. The assault took place over 1 year ago. DePape broke into Pelosi's San Francisco home, shouting, "Where's Nancy?" He then beat Paul with a hammer, fracturing his skull. DePape admitted he was motivated by baseless far-right conspiracy theories. Many of the loudest voices on the right have since joked about the attack, including former President Donald J. Trump himself.
You know, we had no terror during my administration. The only terror we had was Nancy Pelosi, who's a crazed lunatic. What the hell was going on with her husband? Let's not ask. Let's not ask.
I mean, I'm going to just say this. They saying that it was politically driven, and allegedly this guy has admitted to saying that. But in my conspiracy mind, you know they got MK Ultra allegedly. But I'm going to just shut the hell up and move forward. Okay, let's think straight on this. You got to kind of like look at the left, because you're saying, why was this able to happen twice? Okay, you see what we just saw. That was very violent. And I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm a little lost for words because it was so graphic. I feel so bad for that man. What I'm going to say to this is, Nancy Pelosi, you need to let your husband go into a situation where he has someone over him who cares about him. Okay, no offense, okay, because this is the second time he's been violently attacked, and he obviously survived. Okay, and that means to me that this is a little bit more than political, because it hasn't happened to just it just happened to you. Just happened to you twice. You see what I'm saying? If it was other people, it was one attack on you and somebody else in the Democrat, somebody else, I would have been like, oh, this is political. But it never advanced. So I would have to agree with Trump on this. What was going on with that? I do pray for Pelosi's husband, pray for his safety. And what I will say is elder abuse, allegedly. Let's move forward. Now, just one more political story that I found ridiculousness, but we're going to show it because it's here for the mess. It's all mess here. That's all they do. They argue on the Congress floor. They argue on the Senate floor. They play like they're not going to vote for something, then vote it in. You be like, how the hell that happened? The Democrat is in a Republican on the Senate floor. Some people would take time off on the time of the vote and allow for the Republicans to win the vote. I watch this. I'm trying to tell y'all, that's why I don't have time for it, because it gets me so mad, because I see the setup. They like together. But here go to mess with these two. Miss Blotch Body and Miss Eyelash Jones had their moment. Let's go.
He's advising. Okay. Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen, your chair. Point of order.
Look at him.
It's me,
Miss Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
One caught
Chairman.
one caught it, the other one caught it immediately. Like, oh, this is what I think about her every day. Damn blonde ends falling off on my damn chair. And the other one was like, well, what?
I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold
a
on.
part of the.
Trying to find clarification.
Chairman, motion to strike those
idea
words.
what you just said.
I don't know what she just said. A hip hop song?
That's right.
All right, she done set it off. Miss Green tried to throw a low shot and end up getting shots fired. That's one thing you ain't gonna do with a black woman. You're not gonna run your mouth faster than her. That's first thing coming. You should have saw that coming. All right. So that was a blooper moment, not even a blooper moment. One of those highlights to keep us distracted on the political floor. I found that funny because I haven't been paying attention too much of the nonsense that they've been doing. But here we go again. Okay. While we have major things going on, we're highlighting these type of stuff. Miss Blotch Blonde Body and Miss Eyelash Susie in Congress arguing. Now, wait, were they on the Senate floor? Where they at? Where they at? All right, let's move forward. Anyway, let's get into, because I'm not going to keep that on my screen. Let's get into some more political stuff. This is the things we should be paying attention to, okay? We have judges making decisions that are out of pocket. And no, this is not a white judge, okay? This is, not a black judge. I do apologize, because, we've been getting on our black women in politics acting like a whole fool in their position and tearing shit up. Let's put this on the screen. This is something that is very important that we should be paying attention to, because it never went away. We do have an issue with trafficking in America, and we do have an issue that is starting to brew where we call them MAPs. I haven't talked about MAPs in a while. If you don't know what MAP is, this is something that I made up, and I just, allegedly it's a new category that they have been talking about, is minor attracted persons. Okay. This is where adults, older adults, like babies, young kids. There's a lot of videos out there where you could catch these pedos getting caught up. Police is, setting up sting. They're coming knowingly to meet little kids, and they're coming and telling stories. So here, after those particular things happen, we want to find out what goes on. What is the outcome for some of these pedos, allegedly? And I will say there is more than one story that highlights that a lot of times their punishment is very lax. So let's play this. This is judge who reversed a Team R conviction removed from the bench. He's removed. Now, let's listen. I want to make sure this is not a 40-year-old man and a 13-year-old girl, but we're going to get into that in the near future about maps again, but that's only going to possibly be on Rumble because that's the only time we could talk about this. But this story right here talks about the conviction and what they actually, some of them receive. And a lot of it is slaps on the wrist. Let's go.
Cammie Vaughn was 16 when she learned she'd have to fight. It was May 2021 in rural Quincy, Illinois. Cammie says she drank at a party, fell asleep on a couch, and woke up to someone she didn't know holding a pillow over her face.
I couldn't really see anything and I couldn't breathe good because once I understood this man is raping me, I kind of pushed him off me, rolled off the couch, and I leave the room and went immediately crying and telling my friends what had just happened.
The investigation and 3-day bench trial were swift, with 8th Judicial Circuit Court Judge Robert Adrian convicting then 18-year-old Drew Clinton of criminal sexual assault. The charge carried a minimum sentence, 4 years in prison.
What did you think when you heard the guilty verdict?
I mean, I was extremely happy that the man who assaulted me would be going to jail, be going to prison.
Then, in January 2022, a stunning pivot at the sentencing hearing.
You reversed your own ruling.
Yes.
According to court transcripts, Judge Adrian said about Clinton, quote, "This happened when this teenager, because he was and is a teenager, was 2 weeks past 18 years old," adding he has no prior record, none whatsoever.
So,
by law, the court is supposed to sentence this young man to the Department of Corrections. This court will not do that. That is not just. Then, calling the 5 months Clinton had already served in jail, quote, "plenty of punishment," Judge Adrian found Clinton not guilty.
There was no new evidence, nothing new to make him change his mind. It was like getting slapped in the face.
According to transcripts, Adrian continued, "We have people, adults, having parties for teenagers, and they allow co-eds and female people to swim in their underwear in their swimming pool. They provide liquor to underage people, and you wonder how these things happen. Well, that's how these things happen." The court is totally disgusted with that whole thing.
And what's going through your mind?
I had to leave the courtroom. I couldn't be in there. I mean, I was broken.
For nearly 2 years, Facebook groups and petitions called for Judge Adrian's removal, accusing him of reversing his ruling to keep Clinton out of prison despite believing he was guilty. Protests plagued his re-election campaign.
Clinton was not guilty,
which he won. Then, late last year, a rare hearing with the Illinois Courts Commission, the state's official oversight board.
That commission has now removed you.
Look at this guy. Look at him. Look at him.
From the bench.
Yes.
Today, Judge Adrian stands by his reversal, now saying he did it after revisiting the evidence.
I revisited the whole evidence because I can do that. It's a bench trial. It's not a jury trial. So I get to look at the whole evidence again. And so that's, once I did that, I saw that I made a mistake.
His story now, that he reversed his ruling not because he disagreed with sentencing laws. He says he no longer believed Drew Clinton committed assault.
I didn't explain my not guilty ruling because in order to do that, I would have had to say, well, I didn't believe her.
You don't believe her.
Right. So if that's how you felt, you should have put it in your judge's explanation. So let's just highlight some things because these are the things that we need to address politically. If we're going to be political, how do the sentencing guidelines actually works for sexual assault case on the federal level and on the state level? What are the judge's guidelines? And to me, I want to know why they're so weak. Why was the mandated sentence for this particular crime only 4 years? Let's put this guy nose in the air back on the thing. Wait, you saw how he had his nose in the air, acting like he was right and better than people? You see what I'm saying? That's why we need to have a check and balance system. So the sentence was only supposed to be 4 years. Allegedly, after revisiting the information or the evidence, he decided to overturn his own ruling. Now, I just want to highlight, this is just like a bench trial. Just give you an example. It's just like the Fannie Willis case where the judge makes a decision. The judge could have reversed everything in his thing on Fannie Willis case too, just to give y'all a heads up. But this is what he went and did. Now, what stands out to me is how arrogant he is, and God be the glory. It took a while for her to even get this judge to reap what he sowed, because it was kind of pushed under the rug. Now it has been a few years and it's making its way through social media and mainstream. She has got the outcome that she wants. Now the guy didn't go back to jail because it's in already, I guess, unless she appeal it. But what that goes to say, these are some of the things that I find a problem with our political system. And I think if we're going to address anything, these are some of the things that we need to pay attention to, because our kids suffer from this. Now, one more thing, because I'm going to go to the left. You know, I'm to the left. Do you think some grooming was going on in that house that she was in, that the incident took place? Because they said that it was adults that was serving minors out, you know, alcohol and things like that. And these things occurred. You know, she was passed out, and you don't know, maybe somebody prompted him, like, go ahead and go in there, you know, go do your thing. And he ended up, you know, following. That came to my mind because I watched something and it was so wild. Okay, just a little bit about it. Basically, how this guy, because I always watch some crazy stuff. He almost sold his soul to the devil. But he started very young in the 70s. Like, he was the grand wizard master after all these years doing magic. It was just a lot. But in the beginning, he said that he used to live like on a farm type area somewhere in Ohio where it's not much going on. And he came into this congregation that was allegedly, that wasn't a regular congregation. They were into a lot of drinking, drugs, heavy drugs, and sex with kids. Like, this boy, he said he was about 12 when he had his experience, you know, and he used to go there to this house and have all of these experiences with these little girl sisters. I'm telling you the story because grooming happened. Y'all know I'm gonna go to the left, and we're gonna talk about some stuff. We're gonna talk about it. And make a long story short, when someone came to him, they was like, oh, you know that's like a satanic home or whatever. And he was like, no, I didn't know. He said he was smoking and drinking at the age of 12, you know, had all these partners. I'm telling you, this was a little wild. Basically, he had to make a decision. Was he going to continue the life of going to this home and, you know, getting to do all this stuff that he could not do at home? Or was he going to stop? And he did. He continued, and he ended up being a grand master. So I know I went to the left. I'm not going to do a reaction video on that. It was really crazy because I was like, wow, that is grooming. So they used to have tapes of the kids. That was the most important. They made tapes. They used to send the tapes out to people. He said they used to take pictures, him and the girls, and they just you know, and sign it, like say little kitty things like, I don't want to clean my room, things like that. And they were making money off of the kids. So what I'm saying is that I think in regards to that particular story, we have to have harsher sentencing, because we have such vile things that's happening in the background. It's not nothing small. The judge made it small, like, oh yeah, it was just a young girl and a young boy, girl being fast, drinking. No, it was adults involved. It was drinking involved. It was probably drugs. And it was probably some prompting. Okay? So these are things we got to keep our mind on. So let's move on to our next subject. Where am I getting into? Let's get into a little bit of controversy. We're going to get out of politics, and we're going to get into justice or just us. Yes, you know, we're going to highlight some of the things that's happening towards the Black community, stories that we feel is directly because, you know, we are of the nation of that they call Black. There is a new evidence in the Florida police killing of unarmed airman. Well, not unarmed. I'm saying of killing of, because he was armed, Airman Roger Fortson. Ben Crump says. So, you know, Ben Crump has been on the scene coming around. Remind me of somebody, but I'm not going to compare him to that guy we've been talking about. Maybe one day something's going to come out about Ben Crump. I just got this feeling, but I'm going to shut up. Y'all like, what? You talking about Ben Crump? Baby, just because people do a little bit of things don't mean they're not going to come out not right. Let's Grace Levi shut up. Anyway, so this gentleman Civil rights attorney Ben Crump on Thursday revealed new evidence in the fatal police shooting of young Black officer with the U.S. Air Force. That boasters previously claimed that the Florida deputies responded with lethal force not only at the wrong place, but also excessively and without justice. We did see the body cam. Senior Airman Roger Fortson, a family, joined Crump at the press conference to formally announce the revitalization and allegations that the Ocala County Sheriff Deputy at the center of the shooting responded to the wrong apartment on May 3rd.
While so much of the press today is outside of the New York courthouse.
We're not watching all of that.
Today we are in the throes of a church, calling not for warfare, calling for justice, calling for peace, calling for understanding.
My baby, they got their army pants on and everything. So let's finish listening to this.
The family, his life, that this would be for his sisters, for his family, and for his friends, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let me see where the new evidence come in. Let's get to the new evidence. Crump said that he was holding the press conference because Okaloosa, that's the name, Okaloosa County Sheriff Office is sticking to the narrative that implies Fortson was in the thrust of domestic dispute when the deputy shot him. So they're still sticking to the story that he was in some type of issue and the call was coming from his home, for his home. Pointing to the transcripts of the police body footage, Crump showed that there was confusion about where the report domestic disturbance was coming from in the apartment complex where Fortson lived. A woman who may have been working in the leasing office is shown telling the deputy she is not sure from which the apartment she claims she heard domestic dispute was coming. The police again says she wasn't sure where it was coming from. When the deputies asked the woman a third time for the apartment number, she said 1401. She just said any daggone number. Here we go. The woman also told the deputy that she heard a female voice that sounded scared. That's when the deputy went to Fortson's apartment, banged on the door without identifying himself, and moved out of the view of the apartment peephole. I think he also covered it allegedly. I just think because he said he couldn't see nothing. I think he covered it. Okay, so Crump pointed out to the body cam footage audio featuring birds chirping in the background. He said that shows that how quiet things were. The opposite of what the woman said was happening in the apartment. In fact, the only sound aside from the deputy pounding on the door was Fortson's little dog sitting right there minding his daggone business. And I'm going to tell you this is all they saw. They saw baggy pants and a black man with a gun. So we kind of know what happened. If you don't know what happened, Fortson's girlfriend claims she and Fortson were on FaceTime at the time he was unalive. So he was on the phone with his girlfriend when the sheriff showed up to his apartment. Out of self-defense, he came to the door with the guard you now. The portion of the FaceTime video made publicly by Fortson family suggests that the police did not immediately administer medical aid for Fortson. Oh my God. Another contradiction with the narrative provided by the Okaloosa. Please, if I'm saying that wrong, put it down in the comment how to pronunciate that. County Sheriff Office. Okay. So in 4.5 minutes, heavily redacted video is very troubling that the deputy gave no verbal commands and shot multiple times within a split second at the door being open, killing Rogers, the family said in a statement shared on News One last week. Despite the redaction, the video has provided some answers, but it's also raised even more troubling questions as the officer did not tell Rogers to drop the weapon before shooting him. Was the officer trained to give verbal commands? Did the officer try to initiate life-saving measures? No. Was the officer trained to deal with law-abiding citizens who were gun registered owners? And those are very, very, very important questions. I have seen footage of cops who actually shot a young boy, and it really troubled me. But that it troubled the cop. And he literally did it and ran right to him and started giving him life-saving, like call the ambulance, this, that, and the third. This is how they're trained. And what really hurts, and I'm glad that they didn't release it to us, to see our people laying on the ground for minutes, hours, with no rendering of care or anything. Not to mention, you're supposed to identify yourself when you knock on the door as an officer, period. No matter if the door was open or closed. He did not do that. And he moved himself out of view. He saw the gun. He know where he's at. He knows where he worked. He knows it's an open carry state. There's really no reason for you to be so astonished that someone has a gun. Okay, that's first and foremost. And you have to understand, you're banging on someone's door. You don't identify yourself. You move from the peephole. You don't expect in a gun open carry state that someone will have a gun and come to the door. Okay, so he has no de-escalating skills as far as the officer. Do not know how to follow procedures, as we just mentioned. And lastly, what did they bring up? Fucking God. He just fucked everything up. He just messed everything up. You know why I'm gonna say he messed it up? Because this proves to us that the Second Amendment don't apply to Black people. I know y'all gonna feel away. I do truly believe I'm a gun carrier. I have my license out here, and we don't need them more in Georgia. But I'm telling you, it makes people feel away. And every time we have it, they do not honor our rights. Okay, they do not honor our rights. You. I hope you paying attention to this. So people who have their gun carrying license, one, know the law, know how to handle your pistol. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. I had a patient who actually did that. It was funny. We could talk about that. He was funny. He was Caucasian. We was cracking up. I was like, you had the pistol like this? No. But yeah, know how to unload, clean your pistol. Also, when and where to bring the pistol. And also how to communicate with officers when you come encounter with them. You should always identify, I'm a gun carrier. From the door, myself, now it's nothing to disregard what the young man did. But if someone knocking on my door, I'm not opening it. If someone knocking on my door, I'm saying, who is it? And maybe the gentleman did not, respond. I would have continued to say, who is it? I got a gun, this open carry state, you will be shot. These are some of the things that you should train yourself to do in these particular situations, because we do have home invasions that's happening. Probably the migrants. Mama business. I didn't say that. No hate speech. Okay. Yeah, poverty kicking in. But with that goes to say, there's different ways that I think that people can look at this. But what I will say is that color played a part. And I'm not going to not say that, because he saw a young Black man with baggy clothes with a gun. Period. So we're going to continue to follow and see what Ben Crump make of this. Our superhero of the Black community. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not trying to play Ben Crump down, but it's something about him that reminds me of Andrew Holmes. Did I say that? Shut up. If nobody know who Andrew Holmes, I did a video highlighting Jedediah going after Andrew Holmes or exposing Andrew Holmes. I just don't know. I just don't know. Something in my soul, but I'm gonna shut up. If it happened, I'm gonna come back and say, I told you so. Okay, but let's get to this. This is another one, Justice or Just Us. This is the brutality. And I think mental illness. I'm telling you something. That's why I tell you I refer to the Bible, because you're going to have the spiritual discernment to understand what's happening so you don't be reactory. Okay? That's what we don't want people to be reactory. We want you guys to analyze things, make good decisions on how to protect yourself and do things right and be aware of what's going on. So he walked in Walmart stalking. He came up behind him and I heard him scream for help. I hope it don't show everything. Oh my God. But I'm going to put this on the screen right now. Okay. Just in case they show something. I'm so sensitive. This is going to bother me. Don't show it all.
18-year-old man in Illinois is dead after being stabbed to death while working at Walmart. Surveillance video from the store shows a 28-year-old man grabbing 2 knives off the store shelves and then walking around the store looking for Black people to harass. One witness said He was just walking up and down the aisles, giving every black person he see dirty looks. I heard that man scream when he stuck that knife in him. He was screaming for help. And while he was doing that, the other man was calling them names. After arresting the 28-year-old and charging him with first-degree murder, he told police, "I was having a mental health crisis earlier today, and I tried to reach out for help, but I couldn't get none." Walmart issued a statement saying, "We're devastated to learn that one of our associates have died following a violent attack inside of our store. Actions like this are inexcusable, and we offer our heartfelt condolences to his family."
All right, so this highlights not only racism, but as well as the mental illness. And like I said, I think mental illness right now is categorically is handled wrong, because they're saying that it's a mental thing. And you know what I found out what psych means? Psych means soul. The origin means soul. It's a soul disturbance. And these same behaviors that you see these people have, where they hear voices, schizophrenic, biblically, this is what Jesus was casting out of people. I got to put the connection together for you guys. But now what we're doing is suppressing it by using antipsychotic medications. Okay. I'm always refer to something I've been watching. I watch it because we're gonna go over this as well, because on Nurses to Nurses News Network. I had went into mental health crisis that's going on and the different approaches to it, because we're seeing all of this psychotic stuff happening. They're talking about marijuana instead of marijuana helping us. Talking about that's gonna make us psychotic. That made me think about that, like that. Everything. But in that particular, what I'm going to be going into is how the drug industry and the doctors, it's not just the drug industry, because it's the first man, it's the dope man. Shut up. Okay, it's, yeah. That is pushing these type of prescriptions and continue to kind of experiment on the public. So one of the young girls who were about 18, she was saying how basically her diagnosis kept evolving. She kept needing more medication. She kept being, diagnosed with more things, like this don't work. You try this, redosing herself. And then when she would come off of it, she would go such in a deep depression and hear the voices and think like everything was just amplified. Okay, it's one of the things my favorite pastor says. He said all of these alleged school shootings, these people had some mental illness connection. You see what I'm saying? Get off that medicine and come out like rah. Okay, in this particular situation, not only did he come out with allegedly demonic possession, in my opinion, but it had a racial tone to it, and that's why I say, to people who call themselves racist, who don't call themselves, but know that they are in their heart, that is a mental illness. He was saying that he was having a mental illness or a mental episode during the day, it could not get help, and it led you to go at the Pacific nation of people and say some bad things. We know what he was saying, okay? Calling him names. Yeah, calling him names. You know what was going on. More than a hate crime. So these are some of the things that I want to highlight to you guys that's going on. And if you are the person that's in this nation and you feel a way about this, that means that you have to be the one in your nation to speak against it, period. Because judgment come upon all of our behaviors. I'm being honest. You know what I say. Everybody getting judged. But let me just read one comment from here. But there's a group of people living in America that swear racism is over. The same thing we was dealing with 300 years ago. We're dealing with it right now. This is why I gotta keep my guard you now on me. That is right back into the first thing that we shared at the beginning of this live. Shout out to our Igbo tribe who decided to walk into the ocean instead of having to deal with this. But I will give my ancestors who survived this and we were their predecessors, thank you for letting us be here, and y'all, and give you honor because you went through a lot. But at the end of the day, we still are, and no one can say that we're not still in our second slavery. Okay, we're still. Now, justice or just us? Yes, I'm about to hit you at the heart. This doesn't make any sense. FIFA wants global standards for punishing race abuse and urges player to use cross-hand sign. We need a whole sign like we kidnapped. You remember they got that sign, put the sign up if you're in danger. If you're getting kidnapped, yeah, put the sign up if you're black and you feel like, hold on, let me put, I didn't even see the sign. Here you go. Put the sign up if you're kidnapped. This is going to be our sign. Put the sign up if you can't see it. Put the sign up if you feel like you being satanically attacked and you're black. That's what I'm putting up. Okay. Let's read this article. This was 3 days ago. The FIFA wants all 211 national federations to make race-based a disciplinary offense and designate a cross-hand gesture by victims to alert referees of abuse. They got to do the Wakanda. I'm making a joke, but I'm not. And you see my man here crying. You know, I know he worked his whole life as a young boy to get into whatever sport he's in, because this is not just the only one I saw. I saw another one most recently where the guy was like on a soccer thing and they were just calling him nigga and all this stuff, and he won. He helped them win. I'm gonna talk about my feelings about this afterwards, but let me just read this, okay? Hold on. Let's get back to it. So this is, this wasn't the only soccer player. It was another soccer. The other soccer player looked a little different. Soccer must be racist. Soccer World Body on Tuesday detailed a tougher and more unfined approach to it wants to take to tackle racism after months of counseling with victims, players, including Real Madrid star Vinicius Jr. Okay. The crosshand gesture was made on the model of Tokyo Olympics in 2021 by the United States athlete Raven Saunders, who won silver in women's shot put. She put it up. At that time, she said it was the intersection of where all people are oppressed me. So at this time she said it was the intersection where all people who are oppressed meet. And I guess she did that gesture and she said that in 2021 at the Olympics. I'm like, what is she talking about? Please excuse me, y'all. FIFA is encouraging players to use gestures as for referees to then cross hands to indicate that they need to take actions. There was little enthusiasm to kick this into action, and it's starting in Britain. And I would understand. My thing is, let me not even continue to read this article because we already know what's going on. You got my man crying here. I'm good with separate but equal. Don't say it, don't be mad. I am. We may not make a lot of money, the money that's already in these big industries, but I'm into big three, not the big three, but I am. If you don't want us there, why force yourself to be in someone's house? You cannot force yourself to be in someone's house. We are descendants of captives. Yes, even in Britain, we have descendants of slaves that went into there. They have Judah. They have Israel over there. They have the descendants over there, and he's probably one of them, okay? Now, I understand that we want to incorporate ourselves and try our best and live under the notation that nothing is going on. But when it comes to this particular situation like this, and athletes across the board is feeling this, that's when you need to think about it and take a step back, okay? Maybe you want to do something like Ice Cube do. And like I said, we may not make all the money that we will want to, but I do truly believe if we take a step back from some of these industries and start to create our own, they're going to have some type of reaction. You know, i.e. what happened with the big three, where you had the NBA trying to lock them out of the market, and then you had the Federal Trade Commission have to get in and get on the NBA. But I should give y'all an update on that one day. But at the end of the day, that shows you that racism still lives like all over. Okay, so I want you guys to understand, descendants of slaves, you are all over the world. And if you have to be subjected to this, GRACELEVI opinion is separate but equal is okay. You won't make but so much money, but at the end of the day, you'll probably be more happy. And once we learn how to shut our money into our organizations, we actually like to spend a lot. I pray that we end up having that mind and that soul where we're able to spend with each other, and the ice don't always be white on the other side. So that's my opinion. It is not that young man's fault, but I want to highlight the racism that is still going on. And if you think that it's okay, then just know that you're going to be time to be judged. And I think you have a mental illness. Okay. That's to some of my people on Rumble, because y'all be just looking at me like, look, what's she going to say? What the hell she going to say? You know what I'm going to say? The truth. If I'm going to talk about black people acting like a fool, I'm going to talk about white people acting like a fool. So let's get into this last part of Justice or Just Us. Okay. This highlights the boule. Okay. Not only the boule, but it highlights concept of that we really don't run the things that we think we run. Now, this was, I believe, a study that was done about a new diversity report. And this diversity report highlights that basically most of our big nonprofit organization that highlights our rights as black people are headed by our cousins. Y'all know who our cousins are. By our cousins. Let's get to it. You don't own it. White man, this is the article, okay? That's what it said. Okay, this is by the Associated Press 3 days ago. New York. White men are mostly likely to lead the large but funded nonprofit, while women of color tend to lead the organization with the fewest financial resources, according to the study from the nonprofit data research organization. Okay. Now, basically, it's highlighting that they run it and we are the face. Okay. The state of the diversity in the U.S. nonprofit sector report released by Candidate on Tuesday is the largest geographical study of the nonprofit sector based on diversity of information provided by nearly 60,000 public charities. According to the study, white CEOs lead 74% of the organization with more than 25 million in annual revenue, with white men. Oh my God. With white men with white men heading 41% of the nonprofit. So you had 74 CEOs, okay, making over or more than about 25 million in annual revenue, all for our oppression. And then you have about 41% of those nonprofit organizations being headed by white men. Despite being only about 30% of the population, women of color, who make up about 20% of the United States population, led 14% of organizations with more than 25 million in revenue, and 28 of the smallest nonprofit, those with less than $50,000 in revenue. $50,000. That's most of us. That's most of all of our nonprofit. Jedediah's, all of them. Andrew Home, we all there. Andrew Home get a little bit of money, but his ass living in the dirt, ain't got no address. But I'm just showing you something. You guys think that we are running these organizations. That's why people were pushing Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. I really didn't talk about it a lot because I did not understand the kinetics of the organization. It was something about it that didn't make me feel totally right about it, just because of some of the concepts they were pushing. I don't like chanting "I can't breathe." That's one thing that ain't gonna work. I didn't like some of the things that I was hearing about their actual mission statement, and talking about the nuclear family, and it's a little crazy. Just didn't seem right. But I will say that I did participate in a protest in Atlanta. That was around the beginning of COVID. And what I experienced was remarkably right. Now it makes sense why the crowd was what I saw. I saw a lot of young Caucasian people who were like derelicts, though. They wasn't just regular. They were like drug users. They had the hippie, they had the big black gothic boots, things like that. I was seeing funny crowds of people talking about Black Lives Matter, this, that, and third. But they were being more aggressive, agitating the police. And it made me uncomfortable. I had talked about this experience. We were walking, we was chanting. I'm all in the back by myself, just watching, catching stuff. And everybody all of a sudden they got up to the hill and stopped. and everything just got real like, oh, now it was a mixture of crowds. But what I will say that it was antagonists. Come to find out, they were standing off with the popo. The popo was about to start throwing smoke bombs and everything. I said, wait, I'm not into this. I'm a protest, but I'm not getting down and dirty into this nonsense. So there was a lot of agitation from our counterparts in these protests. And now it makes sense because as we know, a lot of these organizations, according to this research, is at least 75% is headed by white America. All right. So this gives us a conclusion of justice or just us. So you can highlight what actual situation we are in as Black people and look at it realistically. Okay. Now let's move forward. We're going to get into, is this a little bit of conspiracy? We're going to get into a little bit of celebrity news. That's what we're about to do. We're going to get into the big dogs. We're going to get into Puffy. We're going to play a few clips for you guys. But I think before we do that, we're going to get a word from our sponsors. Let me see if I got a new clip. What is this? Let me see something. Let me see if I got a new clip. Did I upload my baby clip? Y'all don't pay no mind to me. What is that? Let's get it on the screen. Here we go.
Experience a global adventure with our mineral wash cut-off sleeve t-shirt, featuring a unique design inspired by cultures worldwide. Perfect for any occasion. Add it to your wardrobe today and join us on this epic world tour.
Yeah, shout out to Shoe Pound, to my son, who's very innovative. If you need anything customized or you like to have one-on-ones, 2-or-2s, that's what he do on his website. So it's Shoe Pound, www.shoepound.com. We'll put that at the bottom of our description. He is our sponsor. Okay. Now let's get into a little bit of this celebrity news. Okay. Now this one right here, you know who's a celebrity here? Facebook. This is a lawsuit reveals that Facebook has reportedly sold all of its user private information. But this is not new. This is not new to us, but it kind of opens the door to some of the things that we're seeing that seems remarkably familiar. Let's play this, okay? Because this caught me. This kind of like caught me off guard. I said, this is how bad it is that they're doing this now. Let's get to it. Let's go.
The block on spend a block on anything. But I'd like to revisit this story because I found the comment section very interesting. And you already know I'm not one to read a comment section. Now, we had just covered the story about how Netflix had purchased the rights to Facebook DMs to see what we were privately messaging each other. Now, Netflix stated it was only to be able to craft a more personalized experience for content, but they never actually elaborated what that personal experience to content was. Now, these are the two comments that caught my eye. Somebody by the name of Quinn Edwards, shout out to you, said, LOL, so are DMing becoming storylines and we not getting paid for it? And somebody by the name of Tunchi with 2 eyes, shout out to Tunchi, said, so this explains why I always felt that shows on Netflix was about my life. And I had commented this. Wait, I never thought about that because I never did. Are they using our DMs and convos to make drama series? And then I remembered this. Remember the Black Mirror episode where Selma Hayek had sold her likeness in order for them to create this drama series called Everybody Hates Joan or I Hate Joan? And Joan was just a regular girl. And she starts to see this drama series on a streaming platform like Netflix that was comprised of her entire life. And I did some more digging. So this article comes from Vanity Fair, and it was back in 2018 when Netflix was already being accused of spying on our DM. Now, when the New York Times had reported on the story prior to Vanity Fair covering it, Netflix had found themselves in the New York Times comment section, and they said this: Netflix has never asked for or access anyone's private DMs. We're not in the type to slide into your DMs. But based on this lawsuit, Netflix had actually been in your DMs for 10 years. 10 years. Netflix was digging in your DMs. And now that I've gone down this rabbit hole, I'm actually curious to go on Netflix and look at some of their drama series from 10 years ago until now to see if any of those had any striking resemblance to the familiarity of people's personal lives.
Or her life. She like, I want to see if my story up there. So literally, these people are literally so uncreative that they will be in our DMs and use our personal dramas as storylines and build scenarios. Okay. So when things seem remarkably familiar or resonate with your life, like, oh my God, that resonates with my life, it may be because they was in your DMs. Okay. Yeah, this is how technology is advancing. Now, let's get into this. We're going to get into Puffy a little bit, but before we get into Puffy, this is my thing, because we're going to have to figure this young man out. We give him a pass, and I'm not doing it no more. Mr. Orlando Brown, love me or hate me, I don't feel comfortable with Mr. Orlando Brown. There was a clip that came up that I felt some way about. Let's watch this one. He done lost his daggone mind.
Jay-Z's my friend. Diddy's my friend. Puff don't deserve nothing that y'all giving my friend. Puff don't deserve what y'all doing to him. Jigga, you know,
He's sick.
Jigga's
Look at him. He's sick.
tired of me.
Yeah.
What up, Jay? Jigga's tired of me. And so is Beyonce.
All right.
These are my friends.
Look at for this on a full interview with real LaFay, real life street stars. Now, I'm done with him. I'm not gonna never give him a pass. I don't care how funny he is, how much he try to disclose, and it sounds off the rocket or true. Right there, that shows you what's going on. I put him in a category now with Usher, people who have been abused allegedly in Hollywood, but turn to their suppressors and love their suppressors. For anyone to support anything that Puffy has said or done, tell me that they're dealing with sickness. Okay. Now let's get to it. We already know. Before we get to Puffy, let's see a few things that the celebrity has to say. This is not about Puffy, though. It's not totally about Puffy. Let me get these things back. I had it in a nice order, then I moved it around. Let's see if we can get this on the screen. Sinbad, comedy. The comedian Sinbad. If y'all know, Sinbad actually had a stroke. Okay. God be the glory, he's alive, but we already know a lot of people have been having issues in these last 2 years of having strokes and heart attack. So listen to what Sinbad has to say, because he's warning the celebrities.
You talk about, remember I gave my joke about having a stroke? You gotta be careful what you talk about, because you're bringing it to fruition. Thank God I did have the woman I talked about, the strong woman who loved me. Come tell you something about a stroke. This is your marriage vows, better or worse, in good health, bad health, rich or poor. This is who you find out what kind of person you got that loves you.
So keep that in mind, that the things that you talk about, it actually come for fruition. And you remember a lot of the lyrics that Puffy and a lot of these artists use? Do you remember? Do you know them? Do you hear them? These are reflections of their true feelings, their life, and the things that they're doing. Puffy indicated some of the crazy things, and Justin Bieber have. Let's put something up so you guys can see the power of the tongue and how sometimes they put it right in front of us. Hold on. Let's go. Hold on. Don't you mute me. This is playing good. All right. Let's see if it's going to let me. Maybe make me log in. See what it's doing to me. Bear with me, guys. It said you ain't gonna be showing this. Let me remove it off the screen and see what happened. Yes, baby. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, I'm about to end up getting the copyright for this, but y'all gonna have to hear this today. Let's get it on the screen. Well, can't unhear that. Let's go.
Lost myself at a Diddy party. Didn't know that's how it goes. I was in it for a new Ferrari, but it cost me way more than my soul. Wasn't worth all the fortune and fame. All the girls never walking the same. Signed a paper so he never has to ever say sorry. Lost myself at a Diddy party.
Now, y'all ever listen to that? Now, I never listened to Justin Bieber, not a day in my life. But Justin Bieber is disclosing a lot of what happened to him. And since they want to use lyrics in court, they better get some of these lyrics from Justin Bieber, because Justin Bieber is telling. So now that we're on the Puffy, I want to show you a little funny what's going on my timeline before we show you the drama behind Puffy. Let me show you how people feel. Tell them how you feel about Puffy. We have so many cartoons and things being made. I wanted to share this with you guys.
Are you sure nobody will find me here, Epstein? You're safe here, Puffy. Nobody knows about this place. Elvis, Princess Diana, and JFK, they've all been here for decades. And I've been here since '96. Tupac, I thought I killed you dead. That's what I wanted everyone to think. So how'd you fake your death, Puffy? Fake my death? Why would I do that? That's the whole point of this place. Nobody will look for someone they think is dead. You gotta go, Puffy, before you bring unwanted attention. Go home, fake die, and come back. They don't have sleepovers and bleach our buttholes. And make love to each other. Ew, Puffy, you're way too old for me. Are you sure?
And they disrespectful to Michael Jackson, okay? Because I don't believe Michael Jackson did that. And it's not because I was a big Michael Jackson fan. The evidence and everything that came out, Michael Jackson didn't do that. That was set up. But that was a little funny up there. They're getting prepared for Puffy to disappear. Puffy going to pull a Mike Epstein. Yeah, what is his name? Epstein on us before it's said and done. Keep your eyes on the prize. Now, this is another video. Well, let's get to it, because it was another video I wanted to show you. But let's get to it. Everybody's been seeing these videos. The video is very sensitive. And it's so sad because Puffy came out he came out and made an actual statement that people were basically lying on him, putting dirt on his name. So many interviews Puffy has come out and said these people are lying. People make up stuff, this, that, and the third. And now, right now, somehow this video comes out and it's all over the internet. Let's watch this.
Mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs assaulting his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced actions that seem to match those seen in this video. There is no audio. According to the complaint, Combs became extremely intoxicated and punched Miss Ventura in the face, giving her a black eye, which, according to the lawsuit, prompted Ventura to try and leave the hotel room. The surveillance video obtained by CNN begins as she enters the hallway. The complaint says as she exited, Mr. Combs awoke and began screaming at Miss Ventura. He followed her into the hallway of the hotel while yelling at her. The complaint goes on to say he grabbed her and then took glass vases in the hallway and threw them at her. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple.
Now, this video right here makes this other video make sense, okay? We showed this video before, and people, couldn't really make sense of this. People always try to be politically correct and make an excuse. But y'all remember this video, okay? And this video where he was telling her to, get up and this, that, and the third. Hold on.
What you got to say now? You ain't got shit to say. When you put your girl on the snap, baby, yo, baby. I mean, shit getting weird. Come on, baby. It's hot outside. You fucking wrapped up in that blanket. Let's go jog on the beach.
This is probably what happened afterwards. I will pray that this is not another incident. But now it makes sense. You see what I'm saying? She was hiding from him. She didn't know what to do in this situation. And someone mentioned, just wanted to read it to you guys. We got it on it. What did he say? It says, for all the people asking why didn't she leave, I hope this video serves as a striking resemblance or a reminder of what happens when abusers try to leave. The most dangerous time for a victim of abuse is when they're trying to leave. 75% of all the domestic DV happens when or after the victim leaves. It's never as simple as people think it is, let alone the stalking the man does and how much money he has and resources he has can make the woman even more unsafe. Praying for her, continue healing, and for other survivors as well. Okay, let's go into an article of the Los Angeles District Attorney issued statement on resurfaced video of Diddy's abusing Cassie. So if you don't know, we do know that they can't press charges right now. It's totally past the statute of limitation, but I do think the feds can put a nice case together if they can start to, connect women to being abused and all that stuff. Okay. Now let's read this article, not all of it, but some of it. Los Angeles District Attorney has issued a statement on the disturbing security cam video from 2016 that shows Sean Diddy Combs physically assaulting his then girlfriend, R&B singer Cassie. Following the CNA sharing the video on Friday, the DA office shared a statement to the social media on Saturday, which read, "We are aware of the video that has been circulating online allegedly. It's not allegedly. You see it, depicting Sean Combs assaulting a young woman in Los Angeles. We find the image extremely disturbing and difficult to watch. If the conduct depicts occurred in 2016, unfortunately, we would be unable to charge as a conduct would have occurred beyond the time where the crime of assault can be prosecuted. So it passed the statute of limitations." The statement continues, "As of today, law enforcement has not presented a case related to the attack depicted in the video against Sean Puffy Combs, but we are encouraging anyone who has been a victim or witness to a crime to report it to law enforcement or reach out to our officers for support from the Bureau of Investigations." Okay. Security footage dated March 5th, 2016 showed Combs grabbing, shoving, dragging, kicking Ventures in the clip multiple times from multiple angles. The footage corresponds to the incident highlighting in Ventures' explosive 35-page lawsuit. So if that video highlights, some of the things that was depicted on that lawsuit, we already know it was a leak. What side did that come from and who is trying to distract us or continue to take Puffy down? We don't know. So with that goes to say no charges can be pushed on him. But what they stress is if any victims within the statute of limitation that has anything to bring to their attention, they prompt you to do so. Okay. But let's get to it. Y'all know I got some mess. I'm always finding something good, some information. Did y'all hear about this? Now, this is allegedly because it's coming from Jaguar Right Mouth. But guess what? She didn't get sued yet. So I'm down for the cause. This is her allegations against Puffy. Diddy has a tape of a woman being unalive, Jaguar Wright alleges in a resurfaced interview. Hopefully I can find an interview. I'm going to pull it up. But before we do that, that interview, let's see. I don't want nothing long and I don't want it on anybody's channel. Like I'm looking for TikTok. Jaguar Wright claims Cassie knows how Diddy killed. Let's open this one. Yes. Give me 1 second. It's coming on the screen. I want you to be quiet. I want you to be, before we read the article. Before we read the article, this is allegedly from Jaguar Wright. Yes, always saying something. Stitches get stitches. I'm just playing Jaguar. Keep it up, baby. You know, I'm telling all the bad people. So I'm with you, Jaguar. Right, let's go.
In a startling revelation, Jaguar Wright has emerged as a vocal advocate for Cassie, shedding light on a clandestine sit-down between Cassie and the late Kim Porter. Wright claims that Porter, before her untimely demise, warned Cassie about the alleged dark secrets surrounding Diddy, including explosive details that could be found in a tell-all book. The accusations span from Diddy's gay relationships to claims of him giving Usher an STD. The lawsuit filed by Cassie against Diddy, involving domestic violence and trafficking allegations, was settled promptly, raising suspicions of guilt. Wright insinuates a pattern of harm, sharing a video of Cassie seemingly distressed while Diddy taunts her. Cassie's past selfie showing apparent injuries also resurfaced, reminiscent of the incidents described in her lawsuit. The narrative takes a dark turn when Wright hints at foul play in Kim Porter's death, alleging poisoning and linking it to Diddy's purported misconduct. The timeline surrounding Cassie's lawsuit and Porter's death adds intrigue, suggesting a connection between the two events. Diddy's swift settlement and Cassie's strategic legal approach fuel speculation of a deeper, more sinister truth. As the public awaits further developments, questions linger about what Cassie may know about Kim Porter's demise and the potential unraveling of Diddy's closely guarded secrets. Subscribe for more.
And that was brought to you by Stage Spotlight. This was about 5 months ago. I have a series of video on Puffy on Fire, and I highlight some of the allegations about Kim Porter, about our uncle Tupac, about numerous people who he have encountered and questionable behavior. Now let's get into Jaguar Wright makes wild claims about Diddy, Jay-Z, and Beyonce. That's why you got Orlando Brown ass over there crying, because they mad at him because he keep fucking talking. And they like, if he keep talking, he gonna tell. We gonna have to do something to Mr. Orlando Brown. You better shut up. You better shut up. You see what they do to the people they love. Jaguar Wright makes wild claims about Diddy and Jay-Z and Beyonce. For those who don't know, Katie White was allegedly to be Jay-Z's mistress before passing away in 2011. Their romance and their suspicious death led to countless conspiracy theories, which are all completely unconfirmed. Nevertheless, it looks like social media has been hard and working, digging up receipts. This isn't the only shocking claim Jaguar has made during the interview. However, she also reflected on her relationship with Cat Williams, revealing that they met at her 30th birthday party. Why they just change the subject like that? He taught me so much in 9 months. She said to the comedian, walking away was hard. Oh my God. She tried to make it seem like she was with Cat Williams. Oh my God. They shouldn't, that right there, that would have then been a problem. You see how toxic Jaguar Wright is? My God. You see how she tried to put that out there? That's going to be the next trending topic. Jaguar Wright and Cat Williams, alleged relationship. Now, basically, she is highlighting the allegations that Jay-Z mistress, who was unalive after being allegedly pregnant, just before Beyonce was pregnant and her stomach folded over. Y'all remember that? I'm just saying, y'all, I just look at the stuff. I'll be like, what is going on here? Why she sit down, her stomach folded over? But shortly before that happened, this young lady, Kathy White, was mysteriously unalive, allegedly passed away. So we're going to get into that when we highlight one more series of Puffy on Fire. Honestly, I'm not going to keep talking about Puffy because I do feel like it's a distraction. I feel like there's bigger players in that situation, and he's not just the fall guy because he's innocent, because he did it. But he is the face that's going down, just like a Epstein. Epstein was not the total kit and caboodle to what was going on. Okay? So I think I want to start to end this portion off because we have been on YouTube for about an hour and a half, and we're going to get into I Can't Unsee It, our exclusive segment that is only on YouTube. Okay? I mean, not YouTube. That's a lie. Rumble. Let me correct it. Only on Rumble. Okay? But before we do that, we're going to show you one more amazing thing conspiracy or not. Let's get to it. Let me show you what we're working with, YouTube. I like to go to the left. Check this out, y'all. Did you ever see this right here? Talking about genetic modification, cloning, splicing, mixing breeds. This is supposed to be a raccoon and a cat. What is this?
But look how they wobbling.
Yeah, they're all deformed. You know how
Wow.
they get deformed.
They can't even walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at they look.
Yeah, they're raccoon cats.
Oh my God, that's why they walking like that. Cause
Yeah.
that's how raccoons walk.
Yeah.
Y'all know I ain't going back out here, right?
Yeah, they're
Roger,
raccoon cats.
Roger, I'm not going back out there. I'm sorry. I can't see. This is scary.
That's just crazy.
Hilarious.
What are you even doing? Look at it,
I'm
oh
finna chase a
my gosh.
cat, like-
You going out there?
They say it's power in the tongue. If that's true, I wanna take this time to speak life into you. I'ma help you overcome what you going through. You're not in this alone. I was sent to put you on. Wanna see how good life is? All you really need is some guidance. The ones close to you may not like it. That's cool, cause pretty soon them fools gon' see that you were a diamond. First of all, I wanna give praises to the Most High for giving me the strength to make changes in my life. Cause without me going through what I went through, how could I even have the wisdom to give you or lead by an example? So let me be your coach. You gon' need some advice when you get thrown against the ropes. I'ma keep you on your toes. I don't know if you know, but there are unseen forces battling over your soul. Who is? But that depends on the choices that you make. My advice to you is choose life each and every day. That's easy for me to say when it's definitely not the case. It's tough when you got so much temptation thrown in your face. Okay, let's say if you fall by giving in, would you beat yourself up about it or get up and try again? Don't allow sin to be a burden. Accept it, learn from it, move on and keep working. They say it's power in the tongue. If that's true, I wanna take this time to speak life into you. I'ma help you overcome what you're going through. You're not in.
Unsee, because you are that, you are capable. You are gifted and you are so unique. All of the things that you may hate about yourself are your strengths. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to be opinionated.